Welcome to the Talmadge Homestead. Today we're going to replace the boards on the side of the greenhouse. These boards are what we use to secure the plastic to. And as you can see, the weather has certainly taken a toll on them. They were 1x3 pine. They were rough cut. We had to sand them down, plane them down, and work with them that way. And they certainly haven't held up over the years. This is where you secure the plastic midway, and from here down the purlin to the batten board is where you have your roll-up sides. So from here to there, you'll be able to roll up during the hot part of the summer, and from there over to the other end is where would stay secure, keeping your plants nice and dry but still allowing for air ventilation. It's certainly not the day to be out here doing this. We've had snow flurries, which in this part of New York means 1.5 to 2 inches, but the way this year is going, we're anticipating late spring, so we're going to do what work we can do when we can. I've already been to the lumber yard. I've actually got 5/4 decking that we're going to use to replace this with, as it is pressure treated, not rated for ground contact, but should hold up better than the pine did, untreated pine did in this situation. So the first step will be to remove these old rotten boards. On the end of each board, it's actually drilled through the board and the purlin and held on by a carriage bolt. The rest of the purlins are held on by pipe clamps, which makes the job a little easier. As far as the old boards go, once the carriage bolts are removed and any remaining staples that may be in there from holding plastic on, the old boards will be cut up and burned in the wood stove. Many times working on a job like this, an extra pair of hands is nice. Having someone to help out. If you're alone, on your own, and you only have your own 2 hands, a nice clamp can make your life easier. Now here we have a situation where the bolt isn't coming through the board and the pipe. We'll take our extra pair of hands and get that nice and tight and see if it won't come through then. Well, it's another day. It's a balmy 17 degrees. We got some sunshine. Temperature feels absolutely great after the cold weather we've been having for months now. And the extra pair of hands I put on the board, the hip board on the bow, did the job, and I was able to get the bolt through and in, able to tighten it down. Earlier I was referring to the bows as purlins. The purlin actually goes across the top of the center of the greenhouse, and these are the bows, so sorry about that. As I said, it is another day. We have some nice warm temperature compared to what we have been having. Here the crows are happy about it, and we're still working on the greenhouse. We've been able to get 2 boards down, and we are alternating the lengths. The bows are 4 feet apart, so we have a 10-footer on, which brought us past our first 2 bows, and then we put a 16-footer on. When you're doing this, you have to make sure, unless you're bolting through each bow, that you actually go past the bows and join your boards there. So you don't want your boards to end on a multiple of 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, etc. This greenhouse is actually 52 feet long, so we are going with a 10-footer, 2 16-footers, and then we'll go again with a 10 on the end. And that should take us out so we don't have a board end on any of the bows and just make life harder for us. Where the boards are joined, and you can see we have it clamped for right now, you can get specially made metal brackets and have them joined on the back. We're going to keep things relatively simple. We'll cut 12 to 15 inches off a piece of board and attach it to the back and carriage bolt it through. So today we'll be working on trying to get this side done if we're optimistic, and if the weather stays this nice. Like I said, that balmy 17 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll take up the old boards off that side, cut them up so they can go into the wood stove since they're not pressure treated, and see what we can do about getting the boards, the hip boards, on the east side of the greenhouse. Our greenhouse does run north-south, and it seemed to have worked pretty well for us over the years. It's in a little bit of a shady location. It's right by old hedgerow, so it is shaded in the late afternoon, and it's down a hill, and so it doesn't get the brightest early morning light. So it's not in the best possible location, but you know, it was one of the few spots we had where we could actually get it in. We did have to bring in a fair amount of gravel to do that. So we'll finish on working on the size of the greenhouse here in hopes that spring eventually comes this year. Here we are at the seam. We have our scab piece of wood behind. It's marked at 6 inches, so that way it's roughly 6 inches on either side of the seam. From the seam itself, we've marked 3.5 inches away, and we'll draw a vertical line down the board. And on that vertical line, we'll make our 2 holes 1.5 inches away from each end of the board, and that's where our carriage bolts will go through. Get our drill now, drill our holes, and put our bolts through. We'll drill our 4 holes where we have marked out and put our carriage bolts through.